Oh.
Oh, yeah?
Can you just make a call? Please complete it.
He's at Dan's place right
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I bought them for my mother. She was so excited. She's at Pops. By the way, she did send me a good poll.
So that makes.
Does anybody need this?
I do not know. I have my own.
Okay.
We can sign you in. Yeah, I can sign you in. No problem.
One day I'll learn how to do it.
Oh, yeah, we have another packet.
Oh, yes, I'd like a pen. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's probably don't
All right.
need that.
Are we
I
up?
just sent you the link. Yep, we're live.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the September 2022 meeting of the Merrimack Valley School Board. We will begin with the attendance, please, Kristen.
Tracy Berkey. Here. Rory Carey. Here. Eric Hansen.
Here.
Owen Harrington.
Here.
Sally Hurst Dickinson. Here. Peggy Jones Blanchard. Here. Billy Longnecker.
Here.
Bobby Joe Michael.
Here.
Melissa Muzzy.
Here.
Laura Vincent.
Here.
Jessica Wheeler Russell.
Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Any comments, additions, corrections? Sally?
In the first item, under roll call, we have the spelling of my first last name corrected. There is no C in the version, so it just means IRH, and it disappears that way a couple of times in the first full graph under roll call. Two other, like, under number 9. Very much, but don't be federal funded necessarily use federal funding, so that's about
Oops.
And then in item 15, I'm wondering if there's a way to get quick clarification, if not, just fine. It reads that in response to a comment, Mrs. Randy Romo responded that nurses are reporting when they're told it does become a parent responsibility. And I'm wondering if you could clarify exactly what that. Didn't have time to go back to the video.
Yeah, I would say that it would mean reporting positive COVID results.
It's a parent responsibility to call the North report.
Okay,
But they don't have to.
But they don't have to.
okay. Yeah, I just think that could use just a little bit of clarification. And that's it.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes.
Lori?
Under number 3, my last name, Terry. Terry was a movie with a very scary lady in it.
Yeah.
I'm not that scary lady.
Oh, well, that's debatable. Okay, anything else? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comment regarding items on the agenda? Okay, moving on. Good news.
Okay, good news is in the packet. You caught me checking the live stream link. Make sure it's working. It's on the packet, on the digital packet, starting on page 8. And you'll note all sorts of good things about the opening of school. And in my very, very brief report tonight, you'll hear the fact that it's been a very positive opening to school. We have some administrators here. If there's any additional good news that folks would like to share, please speak now or hold your peace for the rest of the evening. Anything else? All good?
Okay,
All right.
thank you. Katie, good to see you.
Sorry,
What do you have to tell us?
there's a lot actually.
Oh, good.
I had soccer all season or all summer, so that's why I wasn't able to attend. So actually, speaking of soccer, last week we beat Pembroke in our third game of the season, which was actually a really huge win since they went to the final game last year, and so being able to beat them was actually like a really good accomplishment for us. And then football won their first home game last Friday against Laconia. The National Honor Society had their first meeting last Thursday, and then we talked about the community service projects for this year, similar to what we did last year, but expanding the different ideas that we're going to work upon and making the group smaller so we can actually make it work faster. And then Spanish Honor Society had their first meeting last week as well, and that went well too. Homecoming is next Saturday, which is really exciting for everyone in general, especially the sports teams, the band, and anyone else who just attends in general. And then starting this year, there's a new golf and volleyball club that is offered, and students have joined both of those if they're interested in it. And I think it's a really good opportunity for our school. And as always, carry on Sam's tradition, I have a joke.
Oh, good.
What is the best thing about Switzerland?
What is the best thing?
I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Committee reports, we don't have any committee reports, but we do need to schedule a bunch of meetings.
So I'll start the scheduling of that if I can. be
Okay.
so bold. There is a facilities request that would require the facilities committee to meet.
Okay.
And I think Randy, when it comes to curriculum, that's to be determined. And long-range plan, we're gonna run out of real estate to have meetings, but I think we need I want to put it on the radar, long-range plan in October. And-
Halloween works well.
What is it?
Halloween works well.
And negotiations, which is a separate committee, we have a potential first meeting where we'll then flesh out the calendar. And that first meeting was potentially on Wednesday. Oops, hold on, let me get to the right date. Jason, I'm looking at you, might know this. Was it Wednesday the 26th or 28th?
Wednesday would be the 28th.
Wednesday the 28th.
Is-
So I'll confirm via email, but we're looking at potentially the first meeting, which is usually going over the ground rules, a meet and greet and setting up calendars for Wednesday, the 28th. And Melissa, I'm looking at you for time. I think the MVEA would like to start as early as they can, and based on schedules, I'm not sure. Sally?
I actually am not available that night,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
All right.
Most Wednesdays, let me just check, most other Wednesdays are probably fine. But unfortunately, that's one night I can't do.
Okay. I think what I can do on the heels of this, or Kathleen can do, she typically sets up these schedules, is to send a group email out with the committee and a couple of representative members from the negotiations group, and Jason, I'm waving at you again, so that we can at least get that first date on everyone's calendar. And maybe potentially, we could potentially look at the 21st. We could be a week early if that works for the union. Just for that first meeting to set our calendars.
Are we thinking Wednesdays as a general rule?
We put Thursdays out there, but the response from some folks in the negotiating team are Thursdays didn't work for them.
Okay, I'm
I-
just,
I was gonna say, on Wednesdays, I just won't be able to start like super early because that's our meeting day at my other school.
Gotcha, okay. All right, so we will continue with the effort of herding the cats for the negotiations meeting.
okay.
And we're circling Wednesdays tentatively, and I'll send an email out to myself, or Kathleen will send an email out maybe try to rally on the 21st for that first meeting where we look at our calendars and set future dates.
Would that be, just to, so I can block it out, would it be like a 6 o'clock meeting, 5:45?
uh,
6:30?
What's the earliest you
Yeah,
could,
what
I'm
works for-
looking at Melissa, what's the earliest you could do on a
I
Wednesday?
could probably do a 5.
Yeah, so I think 5 would work for those folks, if that works for you too, Sally, and other members on the negotiating team.
I can't do it any earlier than 5, but so.
Yeah, 5 would be
Good.
tight, but I could do 5 if I had to.
Like, maybe 5:15?
We can do
because-
5:15.
Yeah.
Celia, does that work for you?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, so stay tuned for that email, it'll be riveting.
Okay.
Okay, now my understanding is that facilities, we need to set a facilities meeting?
Yeah, I'd like to see if we can set a facilities meeting and following our typical Monday meeting schedule, where we're hopeful on that. We have the 19th, and I don't want to say the 26th because we might have a tuition committee meeting on the
Yeah,
26th.
and did I hear the policy?
We have
might
policy.
Yeah,
We're looking
so
for policy on the 26th.
I mean, the 19th works for me, but I don't know for other folks.
Facilities folks, does the 19th work?
Yep.
Do you want to go 6 PM?
Do you have to
I'm
do
game for
facilities?
5:30 unless.
No, we
I
have
was
a
thinking
meeting.
I know we do at 6.
I don't have to do facilities.
Melissa, do we
Okay.
have-
Lori,
Policy committee meeting already set?
you don't
Not
have
yet.
to do
Okay.
facilities, do you?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I
so
was
that
thinking
won't
5:30.
We could still meet.
Yeah.
5:30?
5:30 for facilities?
Perfect, sounds perfect. I'm penciling it in, it's
Oh.
cemented.
Where are you gonna meet?
We can meet anywhere. David, I see your leg when I look past that bookcase.
Yep.
That's a meeting that you'd want to be at too, I believe, because you're the petitioner. So could we host it here? Yes. Okay. So we'll have it here?
Okay.
That works for me.
I should change.
It wouldn't be inappropriate for.
If you're on the facilities committee, I'll send you an email with a calendar invite. If you're
Okay.
not already putting it on your calendar.
And that leaves policy?
Yeah,
And-
So I'm gonna look to my esteemed colleague for policy.
26?
Yeah, we were looking at the 26th. Could we do 5:30?
5:30 sounds good.
Are there any folks that are on, who are the 2 members of the tuition committee? And
I think it's
Celia,
me.
you were the other-
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
I
we-
can't, I can't come on the 26th.
Okay.
I just,
Well, they threw that date out there. It doesn't, that Andover folks threw that date out there. So we can look at another date for that.
Okay.
I know there was a hope to have an initial September meeting
yeah,
with the tuition folks. But
I'm
we can
sorry.
discuss that in non-public under RSA 91A3-2K.
oh,
We're running
Okay.
a little bit out of time,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just saying.
It was tentative, it was written in pencil.
okay. So policies, the 26th, we're set,
Policy is the 26th, facilities is the 19th.
and curriculum is to be determined
Curriculum
and
long-range
long,
plan are to be determined in October.
okay. Anyone else? Going once?
Can we just confirm policy is going to be at the SU?
Yes.
Perfect.
So I don't drive here.
Okay.
It's important to
It's
put
such a
location
hard
down.
walk, it's a long
Um,
walk though.
Okay, moving right along. Old business. The MVSD Stay Open Framework update. I believe the update is in here.
Obviously previously emailed.
The changes are updating the dates involved, crossing out things that are no longer applicable or no longer allowed by order of the governor. What else do you want to say about that?
Essentially, the reason why we continue to have a stay open framework is there's still some ESSER funding out there and you need some sort of stay open framework as a result of that. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that this stays applicable. And what was sent to the board, everything that was new language, I attempted to highlight in yellow. And you'll notice all of those are essentially dates.
Mhm.
Anything that was going to be removed was, there was strike through font that shows that. And I think that's it. And essentially just a quick overview, anything that talks about remote instruction. So you'll notice right away on page 1, remote instruction was struck out. We do not have the authority any longer to pivot to remote instruction unless it's based on inclement weather, and that's through blizzard bags. So we have the authority to host remote instruction in the case of inclement weather.
Can I just ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
Like blizzard bags, like the students will not be connecting with their teachers online during blizzard days?
No.
Or, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's the same what we've had in the
Okay.
past, where some students do connect, some students don't, but it's based on the level and what's happening in that particular school. So when it comes to health and safety protocols, we are no longer doing the pickup patrol screening questionnaire. So that has been stricken. Face coverings, based on the governor's proclamation in May. I think it was in May, one of the executive orders and the Ed 306 rules through which it was interpreted. Schools no longer have the ability to mandate masks.
Right.
If you were following news articles around that time, that hasn't been tried in court. It's been stated by the commissioner, by the governor, and they refer to the Ed 306 statutes, which are essentially the minimum standards through which schools operate. And there was a statement by Barrett Christina, who is the executive director of the New Hampshire School Boards Association, who stated that there could be a school district that could potentially test that in court, although I don't know that he said anything about the successful venture that may be. But school districts across the state are operating under the governor's orders and the Ed 306 statutes and the way those were interpreted. And that I've checked every single school district that I know, and they're all doing that. So I just wanted to provide some context for that. Buses, it used to be per federal mandate that buses, masks on buses were mandatory. That is no longer the case. The 8% threshold and definitions such as outbreaks and clusters are no longer language that is being used by the DHHS. So I just wanted to make sure that this was relevant and was aligned with what the current language with the DHHS and other organizations is. And it had some references from previous years about HVAC that was scrubbed out. And that's about it. Where it says individual building plans and information, that was scrubbed out too, because there aren't individual reopening frameworks for each building. I didn't want that to be misleading.
Okay, could I have a motion to accept the updates as,
Second.
okay, moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? You ready to vote?
Sure.
All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, personnel update?
So I'll take that.
Okay.
Randy, unless you want to jump in, feel free to stop me anytime.
Either way.
We received a resignation this summer. Art teacher at the elementary level tendered her resignation, and we were successful in finding a new art teacher. Going very well.
Okay.
Can I say something? I don't know if this is the right time though. About CAS. I just wanted to say, I mean, it has to do with personnel in the 40
Yeah.
years. And I loved getting the video. Thank you so very much. And thank you for recognizing him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We did have one other hire. We did, we're able to secure a float nurse that brought some good experience,
Excellent.
which was excellent that we've been able to fill some of these very tough to fill positions.
So just for information, where do we stand? How are we doing? Do we have a lot of,
Off the top of
Open?
my head, we have a few we have some administrators here who may be willing to jump in, but we have a few paraprofessional openings. Last I knew, we were about, it varies based on the day. We were about 7 paraprofessional positions throughout the district. I think that's a good guess. And we're still looking for a case manager in Pennacook, and that's grant funded. And we're looking for a school social worker at the elementary level, which we may try to rebrand as a family outreach counselor to see if that brings us some different folks, because a social worker brings a certain amount of licensure that is sometimes hard to get.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Middle school case manager.
Well, that's not bad considering what we read in the paper, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, moving right along, manifest and journal entries. Could I have a motion to accept those, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Tracy and I have signed off on them, and you have all had an opportunity to look them over. So all those in favor of accepting them, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're moving along to my report. I just want to remind you, the New Hampshire School Board Association Delegate Assembly is October 1st. Melissa and Lori, have you signed yourselves
I already
up
did.
to go? I just want to let the rest of you know that it is open to any school board members, and you don't have to stay for the haggling in the afternoon, but sometimes the morning sessions are really interesting. Doesn't cost you anything. Have a look at it. It might be worth going. It's a Saturday morning, and it's at the Grapponi Center this year, I think. Just if you got nothing else to do that day,
So-
of course. Anyway, just for your information. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that you will recall that we said we were going to meet in each of the towns before the end of the year. So we still have Pennacook and Loudon to go. And we met in Salisbury and Webster before we,
Mhm.
and then we met in Boscawen.
Mhm.
So we're working on setting something up in Pennacook, hopefully in October. And stay tuned. We'll keep you posted. Okay?
Maybe Loudon before Christmas?
That's my hope. Yeah. Because I said before the end of the year, the calendar year, we would do it. Okay? And my plan is to stick with that. Okay?
Sounds good.
That's all I have. Randy.
Melissa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that you brought up the delegate assembly, because one of the things that Lori and I are responsible for is representing the board at that assembly, and that assembly will be happening before we meet again. We need your permission to vote at that assembly on the petitions. In the past, we have typically voted on those petitions along with what the school board recommends or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and last year, we
Yeah.
had an opportunity where we were allowed to think independently in the best interests of our
Right.
school district. And we did do so because you did give us that ability to think for ourselves if an issue came up where we
Right.
had not had a prescribed directive from the board. And that was in regards to the student scholarship, which ironically, our own Sam.
Not ironically at all.
So-
He deserved it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so could we have a motion to give Lori and Melissa permission to
Use their best judgment.
use their best judgment in voting at the delegate assembly?
So moved.
And a second?
We all.
Did you get somebody down, Kristen? All right. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's great. Now, Randy.
All right, I do have a longer than typical report, but I was very excited, so I will try to cruise through this to speed things along. Mark and I kind of did like a Freaky Friday thing, and I have the long report this time, and he has the short one, but I'll do my best to go through. As you may remember, last month, Lori kind of suggested that maybe we should have some more PR bits, a little bit beyond just the good news. So what I thought is that each month I'll try to bring, some little tidbits. So I have a couple of things from a couple of different levels that I wanted to share with you. So the College Board has a national recognition program as part of the PSATs. That's the preliminary scholastic achievement test. And students are eligible if they have a 3.5 GPA, and for this particular program are in the top 10% of scores in the state and come from a rural area or small town. So we ended up with 5 students who ended up getting this academic honor that will be reported to all of the colleges that they're applying to. So we have Alyssa Ishii, B. Dickinson, James Kelly, Marshall Carey Matthews, and Samantha Kimball. So that's-
Can I just point out what elementary school these children went to? I'm just saying. Just saying.
The second one is at the elementary level. And this past year, the grade 4 team in Bosquen decided to go all in. And they went all in the area of math instruction, the use of the interventionists, the use of the math specialists. They took some best practices. They really took what the math specialists had suggested for some small group work to really get to sort of the heart of these kids as learners. We had the 2 interventionists, we had the 4th grade team of teachers, and we had the math specialists all sort of working together. They met regularly, they looked at data, they planned out how they were going to attack it, really looked at the grouping, kids' attitudes towards it, and it really sort of does this work when we utilize what we have and really look at data and dig into it. And as a grade, the entire 4th grade in Bosquen scored well above the state and district average, with 86% of kids at or above grade level proficiency. So the state is like around the low to mid 50s. All right. And this was 86. Now, this was not a case where this had been, just a couple of years. This happens to be a really good class. Only 4 students out of the entire 4th grade grew less than 17 points. One student grew over 100 points and jumped from a low level 2 to a level 4 as far as the proficiency rating goes. Only 1 out of the 4 students that grew less had a negative growth, but it was so small it kept them in the same band. So the kids felt good, the teachers felt good. I really think it's just a model of what you can do when you really, dig in, look at data, get those small teams going. And it's just fun to talk about, write about, just like getting to read off those other names. So that's my 2 little bits of good, fun things. I'm glad I get to be the one to deliver the good news. So thank you. And I'll talk to you about some more good stuff next month.
All right, thank you.
Will those that 4th grade team, are they like going to maybe do some professional development around that and bring what they've achieved to the rest of the teachers in the district?
Yep, some of them are in different roles now, so there's been some shuffling, but that really is sort of the model, and we're looking to expand that and really just use it as a proof of concept that, with the buy-in, working together, looking at data, trying some of the, the approaches really can be a way to go about it. Now, obviously, elementary teachers have a tremendously difficult job. They're teaching all of the subjects, but I think this does point to the fact that it can be done. It's not like they stopped doing all of their other stuff. So, it definitely, they've been having some discussions both within their school and the elementary as a whole.
Excellent.
Great.
Doctor?
Okay, thank you. Just a quick update to the board in regard to the assistant superintendent search. We have paneled a committee, which includes board representation from both districts. It includes SAU administrator representation. It has members from the public and also includes some building administrators and folks. We have a team of about 12 people It will be relatively intimidating for the candidates who show up at the SAU office. We are going to post on Friday, October 7th, and the deadline for applications will be 4 weeks later, Friday, November 4th. I think those are dates off the top of my head. I think those dates are right. And we have a shared Google Drive set up for folks that are on that committee, and we will share candidate information. We'll work together collaboratively for questions, and we'll go through and look for screening. We'll screen candidates, and we'll identify folks that we want to bring in for interviews. The process will include site visits, and it will culminate in a round robin style tournament whereby it's like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And we'll
Just
have
gonna
folks
say.
who emerge at the end. There'll be a chance to spend some time with the community and have a community forum. There'll be a teacher forum as well, and there'll be a board forum as well, where we'll be able to vet the final candidates. And our goal is to have a recommendation for the SAU board at their December meeting. I believe it's Wednesday, December 7th.
Okay.
So that was the first part. I was going to let that
Okay.
settle. Randy and I have been, we had a traveling roadshow where we visited every single school in the first 2 days of school to welcome folks back. That's where you saw the video of Coach Kaz. And since then, we've also been visiting schools to see how the students are doing, how folks are acclimating to the new school year, and it's extraordinarily positive. It's really, it feels like it's 2018. And it's very, very positive, and folks are smiling and happy and working hard and behaving themselves, adults and students alike, maybe besides Randy and myself. And it's just really been a great positive start. So we'll continue with those school visits. We typically get to go in, disrupt things a little bit, and then leave. And I was asked to present at a Discovery Education, Rural Education panel in Denver at the end of September. And it's an honor to be, it's a national group of folks in rural education, and they want to talk about best practices. And I'm going to be highlighting our mentor program. So I get to make 3 slides in this presentation, and I get about 5 minutes. So I've made my 3 slides, and my 5 minutes may stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
No way.
But it was nice to be asked. They really wanted a New Hampshire representative on that panel, and Discovery Ed has been a good partner for us in education. And just a reminder to all that we're probably in the preseason of budget season, but you'll notice that budget reports and things like that will start hitting your board packets. And we actually had a meeting with the Department of Ed today about SB 420, and SB 420 is about extraordinary need grants to schools. So we may have some additional revenue if things go well that we are hopeful can be used to mitigate expenses. Other than that, that's it for my report. We have some stuff when we're in non-public later under RSA 91A32 C and K.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we actually ever get any money from the city of Concord from the TIF grant debacle?
I don't know that the SAU would be a pass-through entity for that. It would be the city itself. So I can follow up. I can reach out to Tom Aspel.
Because I know that it was supposed to be that they were dividing $50,000 between
we were running
the Merrimack
Yeah.
Valley School
Yeah.
District and 3 different.
And it would have
entities.
offset. It would have been part of the Pennacook. So it may
Right.
have been, I don't even know if the SAU would be a pass-through entity for that,
I don't
but I
think
can
so.
I can find out. I'll
Will
follow
you
up.
find out?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, it should
Just because
lower
we
your
spent a
tax
lot
rate.
of time
Yeah.
bugging them.
For 20 cents.
For
right?
23 cents.
For 23
Worth
cents.
Okay.
But that's
Um,
okay.
I don't want to cut you
23
off. Are you done?
I am done.
Okay. Topics for the next board meeting. Lori,
Could we have an update on learning recovery after COVID here at the school?
can we?
We happen to have an unfinished learning coordinator in the crowd. We may have to have a conversation with her.
If the next meeting is going to be very quick because it's right away in October, but maybe by the November meeting, we can have a presentation put together for you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Should we report out on the delegate assembly?
Well, that would be a
The
good
next
thing.
meeting?
All right, thank you. Yes. We would like to hear about that. Anyone else? All right. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment? Hearing none. This is a different non-public that we need to do, correct?
Yeah, we can do the C and K first and then continue with the first C.
Oh, okay. All right. Could I have a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A 32 C and K?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. That's a roll call vote, please, Kristen.
Tracy Bricky,
Yes.
Lori Carey,
Yes.
Eric Hansen,
Yes.
Owen Harrington,
Yes.
Sally Hurst Dickinson,
Yes.
Peggy Jones Blanchard,
Yes.
Celie Longnecker,
Yes.
Bobby Joe Michael,
Yes.
Melissa Muzzy,
Yes.
Laura Vincent,
Yes.
Jessica Wheeler Russell.
Yep.
Okay. We are in non-public.
Can we take a
And-
minute?
Hmm,
Can we take a minute?
a minute, one.
Thanks.
We will,
I'm gonna turn the stopwatch.
A lot of sitting. A lot of sitting. Thank you, Pete.